Okay, so given the title of this video, the person who this is about already knows the story. Na alam mo na kung anong mangyayari, huwag ka na manood. Please, exit. The reason I'm saying this is he reached out to me recently, saying he watched one of my videos. Pero sinasabi ko na sa'yo, ngayon pa lang, alis ka na. Huwag ka manood. Goodbye. You know who you are. Please don't watch this. Thank you very much. Can I just say that lahat ng sasabihin ko right now is reflective of who I was in high school and not me today. So please, I mean, you can judge. I don't care. I'm judging myself so hard right now. I'm just saying, it's really cringy. Hi, what's up? Good morning. Are you okay? If you're hearing someone sniffing everything, it's just Jim sniffing around. So welcome to another episode of Once Upon a Time, where I tell some soups and eat some stories. For today's episode of Once Upon a Time, I'm gonna tell you that one time I was hypnotized. And also, for today, I'll be trying 4 different soups from Knorr. I was planning to go the extra mile and be like, oh, I'm gonna cook for them, there's gonna be a pot and all of this. But apparently it's instant enough that you just have to put boiling water, stir it for 30 seconds, and that's it. So we have 4 flavors. This one is 4 cheese, and then this one is onion cream, and then this one is corn cream, and tomato soup. Yeah, I have these 4 soups, and it's obviously an office because may printer sa likod ka. And those are my codals. So these are the 4 soups. I'm going to prepare them while I'm starting with my story. So if you didn't know, I actually graduated from Ateneo de Manila University with a degree in AB Psychology. And for the psychology department, we have an elective called hypnosis and hypnotherapy. I can't believe I'm cooking in my dad's office. Looking back, I always thought that hypnosis was kind of like those things that you ingay. So, ikaw na mauna. Nakakahiya naman sa'yo. Nakakahiya. Anyway, so looking back, I always thought that hypnosis was what you see on TV. You know, you close your eyes, and then someone snaps their fingers, and then you dance like a chicken. Pero what we are taught in psychology, or hypnosis and hypnotherapy at least, is that it's way different. But if I would explain hypnosis in my own words, I would say that it's very much similar to meditation. If you've ever tried meditation, if you've ever tried meditation, it's pretty much being grounded and being conscious and mindful of your surroundings. So through meditation, that's the moment where I can quiet my mind for once and just be attuned with my senses. However, with hypnosis, or self-hypnosis at least, it's kind of the same in that you ground yourself. I think for me, the starting point of meditation and hypnosis, at least for me, is similar in that you ground yourself and then you adjust accordingly. Actually, I linked down 2 books of hypnosis in the Philippines. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say their names, and I've had the honor of being in their class. Hence, I'm gonna link their books down below. Although, hiniram ko lang sa library, so hindi ko alam if may silang online versions. Pero if may makita ko, I will link them down below. And you can try to study about hypnosis if you want to. You know, if you really want to know what your inner self really wants in life, you listen to your subconscious. And how do you listen to your subconscious? One way is through hypnosis. Lagi sinasabi ng teacher namin, kasi I think yung apprehension sa amin at the start, baka pasayo nyo kami teacher na hindi namin alam, or kaya padatangin mo kami or whatever. Tapos sabi niya naman, we're not gonna do anything that you don't want to do. So we're gonna start with 4 cheese. Ready? Basti Paige, bakit? Also, hindi pa ako nagsisimula. Alam ko nang sobrang taas ng sodium nito. Lahat naman ng soup na tinatry ko mataas yung sodium content. So, good luck sa akin. Ay, isang kutsara lang yung kinuha ko. Hindi ko naisip. Kasi nahiya na ako kasi 4 na nga yung bowls na kinuha ko. Tapos 4 pa rin yung kutsara na kukunin ko. So, ang dami nilang huhugasan. So, isang kutsara pa yung kinuha ko. Pero hindi ko naisip yung cross flavoring. Anyway, may laptop ako. Kasi for our class, what we do is, we may chance every other week. Our professor would put us in a hypnosis state. And then, we'll write about our experiences. So, what I have here is yung mismong sinulat ko nung college ako. Anyway, I guess before we start with the story, let's try this out. Lasang cheese. Creamy, cheesy. Alam mo nung last na Once Upon a Time, sinabi ko, lasa siyang miso soup. Ito lasa siyang 4 cheese. Oh, meron siyang actual cheese in it. No, crouton yan. Joke lang. And crouton siya. Lasang cheese. Pwede na. Honestly, hindi ko alam na 4 cheese yung flavor. Hindi ko rin masasabi. This one's the amoy piatos na green. I like this one better. Meron siyang actual onions in it. And it melts in your mouth, which, oh, I love onion. If you love onion, you're gonna love this. If you love cheese, I'm not sure if you're gonna like that. Mag-cheese ka na lang. Alam mo yun. This one's good. I like it. Tastes like soup. Ito kasi parang, ay, amoy mo is. Lasa siyang corn na may cream. I put the price here because I don't remember how much these are. Madami siyang flavors pa. Pero ito lang yung available nila. So, binili ko na lahat. Kasi nga mahilig ako sa soups. Tapos, sinasayang ko siya in one episode. Taray. Taray nung tomato. May actual rehydrated tomatoes inside. And kaya ko rin siya binili kasi mahilig ako sa grilled cheese. So, maganda siyang dip. Tama yung hula ko na feeling ko mas masarap siya pag may grilled cheese. It's so sour too. I don't mind the sourness of tomato if it's with, let's say, pasta. But this one is not good on its own. But I can put noodles in here and then it's like a makeshift pasta. I guess I can also put noodles in here and make like a makeshift mac and cheese. These 2 are the best. I prefer this one, the cream corn soup, kasi hindi siya nakaumay. Although I like this one. Feel ko over time mauumay ako sa kanya. Pero ito, it's sweet, it's corny, like me. And hindi siya nakasawa. Like me, hopefully. It's good. I like this one. But if you love tomatoes, this one's good. But would they say that it's worth buying a tomato soup? No, just mash some tomatoes and that's it. Alat ng alat. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm rating it this way because I feel like these two can stand on its own. Pero these two, I feel like they're better with something else. So yeah. Okay, sige, babagsak ko na kasi gusto niya malaglag. Sabi ko sa inyo, daw masarap siya, nakakaumay talaga siya. This one's my favorite. Masyadong maalat, masyadong maasim. So those are my opinions. So let's go to our story while I eat this for breakfast. You wanna say hi?
Hi, I just woke up.
Okay, so I have my paper right here. Dear Charo. Hi, sorry. This will be a little bit confusing for the most part because I will be jumping from one point of view to another. There will be a point of view of me in the classroom during the trance. There will be a point of view of me inside the trance. And there will be a point of view of me today. And there will be a point of view of me during what was happening during the actual memories. Because what was happening during my trance, sometimes they're made up, but also sometimes they come from real life experiences. So there's another point of view in that. So it's gonna be a confusing ride, so just stay with me if you can. Let's go through this wild ride together. For the story today, one of our trances was titled Formidable. So our professor said that she will make us formidable through hypnosis. But my biggest problem there was, I don't know what formidable means. So because hindi ko alam yung ibig sabihin ng formidable, paano ako mag-hypnosis and whatnot. But I had ample trust on my professor that she'll take me anywhere she needs to take me. And I think that's a part of hypnosis. You have to be open-minded enough to be where you want to be. Pero since I've done this assignment, I know na it means strength. So if hindi mo alam na yun yung ibig sabihin niya, I got you. Actually, tama ba? It means inspiring fear or respect through being impressively large, powerful, intense, or capable. Bakit akala ko strength? I mean, technically it's strength, no? Apparently, hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa rin alam yung ibig sabihin ng formidable. So, basta daw ang antonym niya is weak. That's why I think tama yung strength ko. Whatever. So I think formidable means strength. Because the opposite is weak. So as I'm looking at this, the first sentence is, this is the third time I am rewriting this. I had to wait until everything made sense. Wow! Deep ka, girl! So usually, if ever I have a trance, I would write that on the same day. It's like having dreams. For me, trances is very similar to dreams in that if nilalamig ka sa dream mo, nilalamig ka rin sa trance mo. Parang ganun. I remember my professor talking about how people use hypnosis as a technique to withstand intense temperatures. Did you fart?
Sure, Jan.
I don't remember which mountain, pero let's assume Mount Everest. Tapos nasa Mount Everest sila, sobrang lamig. Usually they use hypnosis techniques in order to imagine themselves being super hot. And usually they would even actually sweat even if it's super cold. I think that's the beauty of hypnosis in the sense that you can use it to your advantage in whatever way you want to use it. And for me, I would use it every time I get a facial because masakit magpa-facial, okay? As I mentioned earlier, for me, trances are very similar to dreams in that I am like watching a movie inside my brain, but I really don't have a control over it. I'm just letting things happen. But also at the same time, I'm really awake. When you're dreaming, you're sleeping. But in my trances, I'm awake. And for me, the best way to keep those dreams intact is for me to write them down. So if you don't know, I actually have a Tumblr account where I pretty much just put my dreams in it. And it's pretty much similar to my trances as well. If I usually have trances, I write what happened immediately after and then try to understand what it means. But for this specific hypnosis session, it took me around 3 days to do that. And I was explaining that to my professor and I gave her a context of my childhood, but more of like high school. But looking back now, it's been almost 7 years since I was in high school. Yeah, it's my childhood now. Anyway, so our professor told us to close our eyes and think of a swaying motion, or did an actual swaying motion. But then my brain instantly went to the beach. I'm on a hammock, there's a warm sun at the top of me just shining and I feel the warmth of the sun. And I can feel the cool breeze and it feels like an embrace. I was just swaying in that hammock. And then it immediately jumped to my memory of that exact morning. By exact morning, I meant during the trance. So that specific day, I remember waking up very relaxed. It was a very quiet morning. There is a feeling of calmness of just sitting on my bed, trying to wake up, the warm feeling of the morning in your belly, and the comfortable coolness of your bed, just trying to embrace you back. Then, it jumped to a memory of me in high school when I am talking and hanging out with my best friend. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to hypnosis. Sometimes, during hypnosis, your professor will give you a prompt. And then, of course, you want to meet that prompt halfway, so you suggest some things to your brain for something to happen. Pero some things will just pop up on its own. And for me, even if our professor started with a swaying motion and I started with a hammock, my brain will jump somewhere. Apparently, my brain chose to jump to that memory of me and my high school best friend hanging out and having fun. And then it jumped to one night in high school, which is me dancing with my high school crush during Agape Night. If you don't know what Agape Night is, because you are not deprived of your prom, Agape Night is our substitute for prom. So, nung high school ako, meron kaming JS prom. I mean, halos lahat naman ng high school may JS prom or junior, senior prom or senior prom. Third year ako, naka-experience ako ng JS prom. Pero pagdating ko ng fourth year, biglang naisip ng director namin, wag na tayo mag-prom. I mean, I think the intentions were good. The idea was, the point of an Agape Night is just for, wait, what does Agape mean? Agape means a certain kind of love. The fatherly love of God for humans as well as the human reciprocal love for God. I think the idea of our our director, when he wanted to remove the prom, was to engage in simplicity. Everything will be simpler. You're not gonna wear your gowns. You're gonna wear matching shirts. You're gonna prepare dances, but not like the dances you would have for prom. And your parents are gonna be there. Your parents are gonna be there. Imagine a prom with your parents there. That was agape night for us. I mean, I guess the idea was great. Anyway, tapos sabi ng teachers ko, kasi sabi niya, parang, agape night to, wala man kayong prom, bibigyan pa rin namin kayo ng chance na isayaw kung sino yung gusto niyong isayaw, ganyan. Kaya, ganon. Tapos nakita ko yung crush ko lumalapit siya. Sabi, tapos sabi niya sa tatay ko, kasi nga kasama namin yung magulang namin, so sabi ko, crush siya sa tatay ko, parang, pwede po bang isayaw si Paige? Nakikita ko. Kita mo ba? Kita ba? Kita. Kasi nakataas yung balahibo ko. Anyway, so sabi niya, pwede mo mag-search si Paige. Sabi ko, dali pa rin ba? Sabi ni ko, ikaw bahala ka, ganyan. Kikibutan ako, grabe. Sabi niya, ikaw bahala. Nung sabi niya, sabi ko, kasi kita na agad-agad. Walang pabebe. Tapos yun yung memory girls, sayo kami sa stage, ganyan. Kapatong yung kamay ko sa shoulders niya, tapos yung hands niya sa waist ko. Very, very light lang kasi high school, diba? So high school, ganyan kami sayo. Parang, hindi ko hawakan kasi una, nasa school tayo. Pangalawa, nandyan yung mga magulang ko. Kasi kasama ka namin yung magulang kami sa prom, what the heck. Anyway. But that's when I realized that I was crying. Like, I was crying in real life. I have to make you understand that I was very, very happy during my trance. Like, that memory in my trance, which also happened in real life. I was really happy during those times. Parang kikilig ako, saya-saya. Siyempre naman, di ba? Parang high school ka, tapos feeling mo parang, wow, sasayaw kami. So masaya ka. During the time that was in my brain, I was crying in real life. So I'm like, why? I'm so confused. I was crying. And mind you, this is like our 5th or 6th trance. Kasi nga, every other week may trance kami, di ba? But I was crying during this one. This is the very first time I cried during a trance. I'm like, what? Why am I crying? I'm not exaggerating. As in yun yung wording ko dito. I realized that I was crying in real life. If I'm being honest, I'm really confused because 1, it was a happy memory. And 2, the tears that I'm experiencing were not tears of joy, but were tears of sadness, of regret even. Yearning for something. Dapat ako naman magsulat. Pero legit, umiyak talaga ako in real life. I'm like, why am I crying? I was so confused. Kasi sabi ng professor namin, nagagawin niya kaming formidable, diba? And according sa ginugal natin, formidable is the opposite of weakness. So, bakit ako umiiyak? Okay, bakit ako galit? Kasi diba, ang theme niya is formidable. So, meron siyang sudden prompts sa parang strength, remember your time, you were strong, and whatever. Tapos, she said Victor. And na-trigger ako, sabi ko, sige, I'll find my happiest moment of my high school life, where I felt most free. And I can't believe now what I would consider myself as a Victor was during the time na I graduated. Because, dami kong medals na. Sabi ko, kasi masabing naman Victor. So, in my mind, it has to be that memory where you won. So I was trying to push forward this memory of me in high school when I graduated. As I mentioned earlier, if not like dreams, for me, my trances feel like movies. So imagine may film sa brain ko. So I was swiping through the memories and thinking of that moment where I was happy and I selected my graduation. I felt free. First of all, na akong high school, I'm done. Second of all, I have a lot of awards. And in that memory, I was smiling. I felt light in my heart as I graduated as the smartest girl of the batch. She said, as the smartest girl. Kasi yung valedictorian namin, tsaka salutatorian namin, parang sa lalaki. So, ako na yung sunod. Sabi ko, I'm the smartest girl. Whatever. Baka. Baka naman big. Then, a swift and sequential coming of my memories with my high school crush just came through rushing in. Wow, beige! Drama. During the trance, I was forcing this memory of my high school graduation in because my professor said Victor's. And that was, I considered, on the front, my happiest memory. But my subconscious was pushing forward my high school crush. Wow, gwapo mo po! Excuse me. So, the memories of my high school crush just came on, like, rushing in. So, the first time I saw him, which I always said at that time, it felt like crush at first sight. He seemed very confident. And now, looking back, it felt like cocky to me. But since I was romanticizing him in my brain, I was like, oh, he's so confident. Pero looking back, I think he's just very cocky. The very first conversation he had, which I still know until today, if I'm not mistaken, my brain. And then the first time he asked for my number, which I do remember, he asked for my number, and I wrote it on his fan, like he has a fan, and then he gave it to me, and then I wrote my number on it. And then just pretty much every interaction we've had, it just kept rushing by. So I was pushing this memory of my high school graduation, and then my high school crush was just like, me. And it felt like, you know, the montage of meeting someone, it was like that in my brain. So parang may montage si kuya mong napakagwapo na he's taking so much space in my brain. Imagine, I was already 4th year college at this time. And my subconscious was just like, oh, remember when you had a crush back in high school, bitch? Remember that guy? And with all of these sequences, it ended with the memory of us dancing during our agape night. And I remember him holding my waist lightly. As I mentioned kanina, kasi nga high school, diba? But it felt like full warm embrace. Imagine hugging someone so tight. It felt like that, even though his hands were very light. According to Beige, circa 2018, this is what the hug felt like. It was an embrace that feels like it makes you satisfied and you would not want a hug from anyone ever again. It was satisfying, like a warm embrace of the summer breeze on a hammock, the cool embrace in the quietness of the morning, like a warm embrace I get from my parents every time we see each other. Makata ka, girl! Makata ka, girl! I'm cringing. I'm not sure if you can see it, but tumatayo yung balahibo ko habang binabasa ko pinagsabi ko dito. I'm stressed ako sa sarili ko, gosh. This Once Upon a Time videos, honestly, it feels like therapy for me. I'm going through like so much embarrassing shit, and I'm sharing it with you guys. You should feel freaking honored. This is freaking embarrassing. I honestly don't know why I'm doing it. One thing that I did not consider in making this video is that I was romanticizing my high school crush so much. All of these things, all of these imperfections that people would notice about him, I never saw them. I was like, oh, this guy is... And I would go even as far as to say that I got my somewhat resembling of confidence and humor I have today from my romanticized idea of him. But nobody could fathom how I liked him, not even me. Beige. Beige. Ng circa 2018. Rupo ka, girl! I wanna smash my face with a freaking laptop. Because my friends and I are talking about him again just recently, and they were saying how much I romanticized him. But for the past years, I didn't even see that I was doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not even aware of the stupidity that you're in. He's okay. He's okay. For me to even say these things, imagine how blinded I was. I would like to say that I know a bit better now. I think what really drew me to him at the first time I saw him was how confident he was, or at least how seemingly confident he was. And I think I found it attractive because I was very insecure. I was very shy, and although I make stupid videos on the internet, and although I'm very loud in real life, I'm very, very shy actually. And I just saw him as, wow, that's very confident, and he seems very happy-go-lucky. I would consider myself as very high-strung when I was in high school. I kept my grades up, so I was very strict on myself. And I guess looking at him, he seems very free and very confident, and maybe that's what I found attractive. I think I was very insecure during high school. Very, very insecure. I think I depended a lot of my worth on what other people thought of me at that time. Looking back, I didn't understand that maybe all of this was just a manifestation of my insecurities during that time. So let's go back to the trans. So since I was crying in real life, and I felt bad about crying even though I wasn't a happy memory, I went through every single achievement I had in high school. Kasi nga sabi ng professor ko, Victor, diba? So once you're a Victor, well, I was crying again. I was trying to push back every single memory where I had my achievements. So once I was pushing every memory of every academic competitions I had in high school, I trans stopped in that academic contest, the one and he watched it. I remember it specifically, and you'll be like, bitch, paano mo nalaman na nanonood siya? Kasi nga, crush ko siya, so syempre alam ko yung mga bagay na ganun. So alam ko, it was a math competition, I think AVCPS. Nasa stage ulit kami, oh my god, hindi ako na-realize. Lagi ako nasa stage. We were vying for champion, as in we were vying for first place. So I was freaking nervous. Hindi niya na siguro ito naalala. Lahat ng sinasabi ko, hindi niya na naalala, pero naalala ko. I was young, dumb, and broke. And ang point ko lang in this part is I'm trying to push up memories where I think I was happy. I'm trying to tell my brain, oh, this is the time you were a Victor. And it always ends up with him. So, according to my trans, even if I thought of all these academic achievements, even if I look at my graduating self, the trans always ends with him. And this memory of us dancing just kept popping in, like saying, was it all worth it? It was very unrequited for me, I think. It's very one-sided. I liked him, but I don't think he liked me. I think that's where the sadness gears comes from. Parang, oh, all of these very fond memories and all of it is one-sided. And you think your strongest self is yourself without anyone, but then there's always a question of, but what if you had someone with you? Parang ganun. Can I just say that lahat ng sasabihin ko right now is reflective of who I was in high school and not me today. So please, I mean, you can judge. I don't care. I'm judging myself so hard right now. I'm just saying, it's really cringy. So after all of these questions are in my trans, I realized I kept on saying that, oh, this is my graduating self. My graduating self is my Victoria self. But then, well, I was in the trans. That's when I realized, even if yung graduating self ko, at the end of it, siya pa rin pala yung hinahanap ko. Oh, yung trans ko, ang drama ng trans ko, ganyan. Because I wanted to take a photo of us together. Siguro kasi uso na ng high school, di ba? Gawin mong DP yung crush mo ganyan. So gawin mo sana siyang DP. Buti na lang hindi. So yeah. Gulit ka, girl! Alam mo, iba kasi yung feeling ng sinusulat ko to compared sa now that I'm reading the story and detached na ako from my feelings during that time. So I don't feel as sad anymore. If not, I'm just laughing at my younger self. Ngayon ko lang naintindihan na tama yung friends ko and they said na I was really romanticizing him, which is true. Ang ending lang dun sa high school crush ko, walang nangyari. Kung gusto niya ng ending yon, walang nangyari. Pero hindi pa tapos yung hypnosis ko. Tapos na yung high school crush ko, pero yung hypnosis ko hindi pa tapos. So let's go through that. So di ba nga, yung professor ko, nagbibigay siya ng random words for like triggering a certain emotion. So throughout the hypnosis, I was crying the entire time. Ever since the agape. Like that, ganun yung iyak ko. So the song was I Will Survive. Will I survive my dog's barking? I don't think I can. The song was I Will Survive, and for me that was very difficult to understand because I always saw that song as a karaoke song. It's not really a song that has meaning to me per se. So for the person in that trance to just sing I Will Survive randomly is so weird. Imagine there are two versions of Beige in this hypnosis. The first version of Beige is the graduating self. And the second version of Beige is the Beige dancing with this high school crush. I was crying throughout the entire hypnosis, right? But then my professor said song, and then my brain was like, I will survive. And then my graduating self was singing to my dancing self, but only these parts.
Oh no, I will survive. Oh, my song is I don't have love and no one's still alive. I've got all my love to live. I've got all my love to give and I'll survive. I will survive. Hey, hey.
Only those parts. And then I suddenly smiled during my hypnosis. So while I was dancing with him during my trance, it became my graduating self who embraced myself so hard that dancing. Okay, so so my graduating self suddenly hugged the dancing version of myself So these two people that I was talking about earlier, which are versions of myself, they hug each other, they embrace so freaking hard. Remember the hugs that I was talking about at the start of this video? Those freaking hugs, that was very intense. That's the same hug that happened during the end of my trance and my graduating self and my dancing self at the Agape night. When they embraced so freaking hard, they became one person. Wow. And that was the end of the trance. It's crazy. I'm not sure if I told the story properly. Kasi ang dami ko sa comments, dun talaga ako magkwento. Pasensya na. Pero ang crux nun. So yeah, that's what happened during my trance. I mean, but that's not the end of the story, right? Let's unpack that. Don't you have all these questions? What the heck is happening, bitch? Isn't it so confusing? Why were you crying? Why were you laughing? Why are you crazy? Because I graduated 2015 and this was written in 2018. Why was my subconscious all of a sudden bringing back old memories of my high school? But I think, if I'm being honest, the biggest part of why I was hung up on the idea of him during this time, because I don't think I'm in the same headspace right now. It's like we're looking at these versions of Beige from like a third person, which is 2021 Beige. So this was written in 2018 and I think the Agape night happened in 2015. Oh my god, this keeps happening. So nung Once Upon a Time episode 1, I was talking about having a crush on a Filipino actor in 2013, I think. And then I had my debut in 2017, which is when I met him. And then 4 years later, which is 2021, I talked about it in a video. But this is different. The event happened in 2015, the Agape night. And then 3 years later, I wrote this paper. And then 3 years later, after this paper, I'm talking in front of you guys. You know, I just love, I guess, patterns or something. I just think it's cute. So anyway, let's review 2015 Beige and then 2018 Beige from the point of view of 2021 Beige. I think it's the looming question of what if. That's why it appeared in my 2018 trance, because there were a lot of questions in 2015 that I wasn't able to answer. And I'm not gonna ask those questions anymore, mainly because I think I already found the answer. And the answer is, we'll never know. And it's going to be okay if I don't know the answers. But I think why it has loomed in 3 years is because I have this thing where I don't address anything because it's difficult to address them. And since I'm not addressing them, my unconscious self is keeping all of these thoughts for me, because my conscious self was like, I'm not gonna deal with these things. So I don't. And then my unconscious self is like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just take it in me and I will repress this emotion. So your consciousness is okay. But then once we did the hypnosis, my unconscious was like, oh, I have a chance to speak. Oh, well, let me tell you. Let me tell you all of my thoughts. And then 2021 Grace rose in and she wants to say that the answer to the questions in 2015 doesn't matter. You know why? Because we don't care. And I think that's growth. I think it's just what I needed during those times. I needed a crush to make me feel better about myself in 2015. And I think for me, 2018 was the year where I had to face the hard questions and ask the people who need to be asked. Actually, after having this trance, I actually texted the guy. I told him about my trance. It's like, hey, our class, we had a trance. And that's why I'm saying, sabi ko sa kanya, simula ng video na to, na alam mo na kung anong mangyayari, huwag ka na manood. And you might say, Beige, why are you asking the what ifs anyway? Why does it freaking matter to you? Because there was this one time. Makes me feel like I shouldn't address it anymore, but I'm gonna say it. 2015, fourth year ako, cleaners kami.